The year is 2016. Pokemon Go was just released, breaking numerous records in terms of sales and revenue.
I wanna be the very best, like no one ever.
The Olympics were held in Rio de Janeiro for the first time. Oh, and WikiLeaks released thousands of emails from inside the political campaign of Hillary Clinton. The Russians were accused of interfering with the election, and Donald Trump was named President of the United States. Now fast forward to 2020. The election is right around the corner, and social media companies such as Twitter and Facebook are taking steps to prevent the spread of misinformation on their platforms. This has led to conservatives accusing them of censoring free speech when they block or put warning labels on questionable posts, while others say that the companies need to do more to prevent misleading information and conspiracy theories from spreading. Last week, I covered Spotify's censorship of Joe Rogan and that social media companies were likely going to attempt to do something similar. Today, I'm going to be going over the different ways that the biggest social media companies are censoring posts which they deem to be controversial or false, the legality of their actions, and whether or not they should be fact-checking and banning users' content. But first, if you don't mind liking the video and subscribing to my channel, it helps spread my content to others that might be interested, so I'd really appreciate it. No fake news here. This month, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube have announced policies to block or limit the spread of misinformation. Facebook announced that it would ban any messages that denied the Holocaust happened. The tech giant also prevented any ads that discouraged vaccinations. YouTube followed suit and banned videos that supported QAnon conspiracy theories. According to Wikipedia, QAnon is a far-right conspiracy theory that alleges that a cabal of Satan-worshipping pedophiles is running a global child sex trafficking ring and plotting against Donald Trump. The theory also commonly asserts that Trump is planning a day of reckoning known as the Storm, when thousands of members of the cabal will be arrested. No part of this theory is based on fact. With each policy that social media platforms have enforced, many conservatives become more irritated and claim that these companies are treating them unfairly. This sentiment only grew worse after President Trump and his allies heavily criticized Twitter and Facebook's decision to block or limit the spread of an unverified story about Hunter Biden.
We've just learned through explosive documents published by a very fine newspaper, the New York Post, that Joe Biden has been blatantly lying about his involvement in his son's corrupt business dealing. The newly uncovered emails reveal that a top executive from the highly questionable Ukrainian company, it's an energy company, which paid Hunter at least $50,000 a month, but it's now looking like it could be $183,000 a month. That's a lot of money. In other words, Hunter was being paid for access to his vice president father, who was specifically put in charge of Ukraine and Russia. These emails show that Biden's repeated claim that he has never spoken to Hunter about his business dealings were a complete lie.
Last Wednesday, the New York Post published an article about supposedly incriminating photos and emails found on a laptop belonging to Hunter Biden, who I'm sure by now you figured is Joe Biden's son. Without getting too much into the specifics of the emails, if true, they would make the Bidens look bad due to evidence of corruption pertaining to the family's own financial interests in specific Ukrainian and Chinese businesses. Shortly after the article was published, Facebook reduced the reach of the story, saying that it was eligible for fact-checking by the platform's partners. Twitter took this a step further and banned all links to the article and even locked the accounts of people who tweeted it, including White House Press Secretary Kayleigh McEnany. The company defended its actions by claiming that the article contained images showing private personal information, and because it viewed the article as a violation of its rules against distributing hacked material. There's absolutely no evidence tying the New York Post's report to a foreign disinformation campaign. However, there are still many questions regarding how the media company obtained the emails and whether or not they were authentic. Social media companies, on the other hand, did not want to take any chances. You have to wonder if these allegations against the Bidens may have some truth to them, since social media companies have taken such massive actions to prevent the article from spreading. These social media companies' actions pissed off Republicans who want them to be sued and stripped of their legal protections. Senator Ted Cruz stated that we've seen Twitter and Facebook actively interfering in this election in a way that has no precedent in the history of our country. It is true, however, that the mainstream media is heavily biased towards the left. News organizations that claim to be neutral have slowly tilted towards a liberal bias. The entertainment and sporting industries also have a heavy liberal undertone. For example, according to a nonpartisan CrowdPack analysis, nearly all members of the entertainment industry donate exclusively to left-leaning candidates. According to the Center for Public Integrity in 2016, 96% of all money donated by journalists were given to the Hillary Clinton campaign. And before you go blame Trump for that, in 2012, all major media companies made larger contributions to Barack Obama than to Mitt Romney. Not only that, but late-night TV hosts have also broken the boundaries of what was considered acceptable political humor for networks. So you must be asking yourself, how is this form of censorship even legal? Whether you like it or not, social media platforms have the legal right to ban these controversial stories due to Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act. Republicans have attempted to abolish Section 230, which is the law that protects tech companies from liability for what users post. The law states that no provider or user of any interactive computer service shall be treated as the publisher or speaker of any information provided by another information content provider. Thus, Republicans are arguing that these social media giants are acting more like publishers than impartial platforms. A hearing at which the CEOs of Twitter, Facebook, and Google are set to appear is scheduled for just days before the election day. In addition, the First Amendment generally protects websites' rights to avoid hosting speech that they simply do not agree with. So although these companies technically have the right to censor users' content, should they? Whatever your opinion is on the subject, it is clear that this is a large problem. On the one hand, you may be an advocate for users' First Amendment rights, but on the other hand, you might also not want misinformation to be spread so rapidly. Either way, feel free to comment below what you think. And as always, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and like this video if I provided you any value. Thanks so much, and I'm looking forward to seeing you on the next one.